Hey there, Star Wars nerds. Let's cut the bantha poodoo. We all know the story. Republic, good. Empire bad. Jedi got. Anakin turned into a walking toaster. But here's the question. No one asks at the Mos Eisley cantina. How did a guy who looked like he'd forget his own name at a Senate hearing take down a 1,000-year-old democracy with less effort than it takes Jar Jar to trip over his own feet? This isn't a villain origin story. It's a masterclass in gaslighting, grifting, and turning public service into a synonym for galactic coup. Palpatine didn't just win. He cheated, lied, and manipulated both sides of every fight. And we're going to break down how he did it. Spoiler, it involves more secret identities than a Sith cosplayer at Comic-Con, and enough propaganda to make a separatist PR rep cry.e. Grab your blue milk. This is going to rewrite everything you thought you knew about the fall of the Republic. Let's start at the beginning, Naboo. A pretty little planet with more waterfalls than sense, and home to one Sheev Palpatine, Aka Akea, the galaxy's most famous "I'm just here to help" villain. Back then, he was just another senator, shuffling around the Galactic Senate in his boring robes, smiling like he didn't just think of a way to make your grandma pay extra for Starship fuel. Why was everyone sleeping on him? Simple. He wanted them to. Palpatine's superpower wasn't the Force. It was being boring. Think about it. The Senate was full of loudmouths. There was Padme, the teen queen who yelled about democracy like it was a lost lightsaber. There was Bail Organa, the guy who acted like he'd never even heard of a lie. And then there was Palpatine, quiet, polite, always listening to his colleagues' complaints, nodding like he cared about their stupid planet's trade disputes, nuts. He's just a nice old man from Naboo, they said. He couldn't hurt a Gungan, they said. Spoiler, he once manipulated a Gungan army into fighting a droid invasion he started. But we'll get to that. First, let's talk alliances. Palpatine didn't make friends, he planted seeds. He'd schmooze with corrupt senators from planets like Kuat, the ones who loved weapons deals more than ethics, and slipped them tips about upcoming trade laws. Hey, Senator Banks, heard the Republic's gonna ban your planet's favorite spice? Shame, if only someone could talk to the Chancellor about it, then he'd fix the problem. And suddenly, he also mastered the art of the dissenting whisper. Ever been in a group chat where one person starts saying, "Wait, is anyone else weirded out by how the Jedi are always advising the Senate?" That was Palpatine. He'd lean into a fellow senator at a cocktail party and go, "Don't you think the Jedi have gotten a little power hungry lately? Building temples on every planet, acting like they're above the law?" These weren't big, loud accusations. They were tiny cracks. But over time, those cracks turned into chasms. And the best part, he never signed his name to any of it. When someone asked, "Who said that?" the answer was always, "Oh, just someone, around." His early moves seemed harmless. He pushed for better representation for Outer Rim planets. Code for, "Let's give more power to the guys who'll owe me later." He sponsored bills to combat corruption. Code for, "Let's get rid of the senators who won't play ball." To everyone else, he was a reformist, a breath of fresh air in a Senate that smelled like political BS.U. But here's the kicker. Every single one of these moves was a chess piece. That Outer Rim representation bill, it let him install his own people in key committees. That anti-corruption law, it took out 3 senators who were starting to ask questions about his ties to the Trade Federation. 9. Palpatine wasn't building a career. He was building a trap, and the entire Republic was walking right into it. Now let's fast forward to The Phantom Menace, a movie famous for Jar Jar's accent, Anakin's yippee, and Palpatine's first big power play, the Trade Federation Crisis.U. Here's the setup. The Trade Federation, a bunch of greedy corporate goons who'd sell their own mothers for a better profit margin, blockades Naboo. Why? Because the Republic raised taxes on interstellar trade. But wait, who pushed for those taxes? Spoiler, Palpatine, and who secretly funded the Trade Federation's droid army. Double spoiler, also Palpatine, this is where his double agent act really kicks in. As Senator Palpatine, he's begging the Chancellor to do something about the blockade. "Think of the people of Naboo," he cries, wiping a fake tear from his eye. As Darth Sidious, his edgy Sith alter ego, He's on a hologram to the Trade Federation leaders, growling, "Crush Naboo! Make the Republic fear you." It's like if you hosted a party, hired a guy to crash it, then acted like the hero who saved the party by kicking him out. Genius. Evil genius, but genius.nah. The real win here? Emergency powers. The Chancellor at the time, Valorum, a guy who is about as effective as a wet lightsaber, can't fix the crisis. So Palpatine steps in, reluctantly, and says, maybe we need to give the Chancellor more power. Just temporarily, to end the war. The Senate eats it up. Yes, give him power. Save us, they shout like a crowd cheering for a hut at a pod race. Valorum gets booted. And who do they elect as the new Supreme Chancellor? You guessed it, Palpatine, the guy who started the crisis in the first place. But wait, there's more. Palpatine didn't just want a quick war. He wanted a long one, so he kept funding both sides. The Trade Federation got more droids. The Republic got, well, the clone army. We'll get to that. He made sure the war dragged on for years because nothing makes people give up their freedoms like a never-ending conflict. Think about it. If the war ended in 6 months, everyone would go, great, now let's go back to arguing about tax laws. But if it's 3 years, and your planet's being bombed, and your cousin's been drafted, you start thinking, maybe we don't need all these checks and balances. Just someone who can keep us safe. That someone? Palpatine. He played the savior perfectly. Every time there was a setback, he'd give a speech. My fellow citizens of the Republic, we face dark times. But I promise you, I will not rest until this war is over. Trust me. And they did. Because when you're scared, you don't ask if the guy saving you is the same guy who locked you in the closet. Ah, the Clone Wars. The galaxy's worst reality show, hosted by Darth Sidious. By now, Palpatine's got the Supreme Chancellor gig, and he's using the war like a sledgehammer to bash democracy into submission. First, let's talk about distractions. When everyone's worried about separatist droids blowing up their cities, who's going to notice that Palpatine's quietly dissolving the Senate's oversight committees? Who's going to care that he's appointing his own people to run the military? Not the average citizen. They're too busy hiding in bunkers. He also mastered propaganda. Remember those holovids you'd see in the prequels? The ones where Palpatine's face is everywhere, talking about unity and defeating the separatist menace. That's not just marketing. That's brainwashing. He paid holonet stations to run stories about Jedi failures, like when Anakin lost his lightsaber, again, and Chancellor successes, like when he negotiated a ceasefire with a planet he'd already paid to surrender you. And let's not forget the Jedi. Palpatine hated the Jedi more than Jar Jar hates personal space, but he didn't just kill them. He destroyed their reputation first. He spread rumors. The Jedi are hoarding force powers. They're secretly working with the separatists. Master Yoda ate my lunch. Okay, maybe not that last one, but close. He even used Anakin to do it. Poor Anakin. He's just a guy with anger issues and a cool lightsaber. And Palpatine's over here whispering, you know, the Jedi don't trust you. They think you're too emotional, but I trust you. I see your potential. It's like if your boss said, your coworkers hate you, but I'll give you a promotion if you spy on them. Sleazy? Yes. Then there's the military. Palpatine didn't just control the clone army, he owned it. Remember the clone troopers' inhibitor chips? The ones that made them execute Order 66? Yeah. Palpatine had those installed before the war even started. He told the Kaminoans, the clone creators, it was a safety measure in case the clones went rogue. Spoiler, the only rogue one was him. He also corrupted key officers. Guys like Admiral Tarkin, later of Death Star fame, were Palpatine's yes men. Tarkin would say things like, the Senate is holding us back. We need a stronger leader. And everyone would nod, because Tarkin was a war hero. Never mind that he was just repeating Palpatine's lines. By the end of the Clone Wars, the Republic was a shell of itself. The Senate was a rubber stamp. The military answered directly to Palpatine. And the Jedi? They were seen as suspicious, untrustworthy, and out of touch. Palpatine didn't just win the war. He won the narrative. And that's way more powerful than any lightsaber. Let's get to the good stuff. The part where Palpatine flips the table and says, surprise! I'm a Sith Lord, and everyone's gonna die. Order 66 isn't just a plot twist, it's the culmination of years of planning. First, the setup. Palpatine waits, until the Clone Wars are almost over. Why? Because if he kills the Jedi too early, the Separatists might win. If he waits too long, the Jedi might figure out his plan. Timing is everything, like baking a cake, but the cake is a coup, and the oven is the galaxy. Neasy. Then, there's Anakin. Palpatine's been grooming Anakin since he was a kid. He told him he was special, that the Jedi didn't understand him, that he could save. Padme from death, spoiler, he couldn't. By the time Revenge of the Sith rolls around, Anakin is a ticking time bomb, and Palpatine lights the fuse. He tells Anakin he's Darth Sidious. Then he says, the Jedi are gonna kill me. They're gonna take over the Republic. But if you join me, you can save Padme. Anakin, being the most gullible Jedi since Ahsoka left the Order, buys it. He betrays Mace Windu, joins the dark side, and becomes Darth Vader. 1. Now, Order 66 itself. Palpatine gives the order, execute Order 66, and boom. Every clone trooper in the galaxy turns on their Jedi generals. It's chilling, but let's be real, it's also kind of impressive. He planned this so well that even Yoda, the galaxy's oldest know-it-all, didn't see it coming. The Jedi's own principles helped him. Think about it. The Jedi don't kill unarmed people. They don't suspect their allies. They believe in trust and unity. So when the clones, their comrades, start shooting, the Jedi freeze. They can't believe it. That hesitation is what kills them. Et. Palpatine weaponized their goodness. He turned their greatest strength into their greatest weakness. It's like if you taught a wampa to hug, then stabbed it when it opened its arms. Messed up? Absolutely. But genius? You can't deny it. And the public, they ate it up. Palpatine went on the holonet and said, the Jedi tried to stage a coup. They wanted to take over the Republic, but I stopped them. I saved you. The people, still scared from the war, believed him. They cheered as the Jedi were hunted down. They called Vader a hero for killing the traitors. Palpatine didn't just kill the Jedi, he made the galaxy hate them. And that's how you make sure they never come back. Now, the final act, turning the Republic into the Empire. Palpatine doesn't waste any time. 2 days after Order 66, he calls a special session of the Senate. He stands there in his fancy new black robes and says, the Republic is weak. It's divided. It can't protect you. We need a new order, a galactic empire. And I'll be your emperor. The Senate cheers. Again, because by now, they're so used to doing what Palpatine says that they don't even think about it. It's like if your friend kept asking to borrow 20, and eventually you just hand it over without them asking. SPT Palpatine's first move as emperor? Dismantled democracy. He dissolves the Senate. Eventually, he waits a few years to avoid riots, bans political parties, and makes sure every planet answers directly to him. He builds the Death Star, not just to blow up planets, but to show everyone what happens if they dissent. Mess with me, it says, and I'll turn your home into space dust. He also changes the culture. The Empire isn't just a government, it's a religion. Palpatine's face is on every holovid, every coin, every cereal box. Okay, maybe not cereal boxes, but you get the idea. Kids are taught to say, "Hail the Emperor" in school. Soldiers swear loyalty to him, not the Empire. G. And the long-term plan? He makes sure no one can ever challenge him. He purges anyone who might be a threat, senators, military officers, even Sith apprentices. Looking at you, Darth Maul. He creates the Inquisitors to hunt down any remaining Jedi. He builds a network of spies so big that even talking about democracy in your living room could get you arrested. But here's the craziest part. His legacy lasts. Even after he dies the first time, the Empire doesn't fall overnight. The First Order rises decades later, still following his playbook: fear, propaganda, strongman rule. Kylo Ren? He's just Palpatine's fanboy with a cooler lightsaber. Palpatine didn't just take over the galaxy, he shaped it. He turned a messy, imperfect democracy into a totalitarian regime. And he did it all with a smile. He's the ultimate example of why you should never trust a politician who says, "I just want what's best for you." So, what's the takeaway here? Palpatine's rise isn't just a Star Wars story, it's a warning. It's about how fear makes people give up their freedoms. It's about how a good liar can convince you that black is white, up is down, and the guy who's destroying your country is actually saving it. But it's also about how even the biggest empires fall. Palpatine thought he was invincible until a couple of kids with a proton torpedo and a lightsaber proved him wrong. So maybe there's hope. Maybe no matter how bad things get, someone will always stand up and say, enough. But let's be real. Until then, let's all agree to never trust a guy in a robe who smiles too much, especially if he's from Naboo.Jai. Thanks for watching, nerds. May the Force be with you, and may you never fall for a Sith Lord's political campaign.